Hi you guys, it's Wendy and I'm coming to you with my first entry for my die cut challenge. I think maybe a lot of people passed by the die cut challenge, maybe not because they didn't want to enter, but because it was my first video that I had ever not just, it wasn't my voice, it wasn't me explaining things. Instead I tried things out and just did a real quick text only video. And I'm not very good at those, and it felt kind of weird and impersonal, so I probably won't do that too much anymore. So I wanted to come on here, not only show the first entry, but also kind of talk about a few questions that have come up from people. I've had a few people email and say, gosh, I've got some questions about this. So, just to recap, the die cut challenge is open to US or international subscribers. You have to be 18 or older, a visible subscriber. I'm going to ask that these are postmarked by July 22nd, so that still gives you quite a bit of time. Essentially, you can get one entry for making me a handmade card. With this being a die cut challenge, you would need to incorporate at least one die cut on that card, certainly more if you'd like. You can get me an ATC. Again, that would get you one entry, but it has to incorporate at least one die cut. Or you can make me an index card that can be 3x5 or 4x6. On the back, I'd like your name, your YouTube name, your birthday, your favorite color, and an inspirational quote or song lyric. Again, the front of the index card would need to be decorated and would need to include at least one die cut. So you could do one of those or all of those. And then for 5 entries, if you would send along some die cuts for me to use on my own projects. I think I've said before in videos, I don't actually have a die cutting machine of any sort. So when those come to me in Happy Mail, I'm so excited. And I use those for many purposes. Obviously, I take the die cut itself and use it, but I also use the scrap part. A lot of people will just send the die cut only, but if you want to send me also the part that, once the die cut came out, the what do you call that? The positive and the negatives as well. I do a lot of mixed media stuff, and so I like to spray through those. I like to use those as templates for drawing. There's all kinds of things. So anyway, just wanted to toss that out. And if you want to do them out of acetate so I can use them as stencils with sprays, that would be awesome. There's just a lot of purposes that I can use them for, and so I really enjoy them when I get them. Having said that, I wanted to share with you my first and most epic entry for this challenge. My partner for the Esther Luca family swap was Loretta Rodger. And she was generous with that swap, and then she was a sweetheart and sent me out this package, and she went above and beyond. Another question that came up is how many extra die cuts would I need to send? Well, I realized that it's kind of a process to do, and it's probably kind of a pain in the bottom in order to actually get the die cuts accomplished, and so I don't want to put a number on it. Just whatever, obviously don't exhaust yourself, but whatever you feel comfortable sending. Maybe that will be dictated by postage, just whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm always grateful for a small envelope of those, obviously I'm grateful for this, for this particular amount. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with. And so Loretta sent them out of kind of a heavy chipboard, and again, in terms of materials, I don't really care what those are made out of. If you want to punch them out of plastic so I can spray or use them as stencils, if you want to make them out of chipboard, that's cool because I make a lot of altered books, or if you want to make them out of scraps, scrapbook paper. As far as the individual die cuts, if I'm not using them for mixed media purposes, basically if I don't like the pattern or whatever, I can always paint them. I do tend towards kind of neutrals as far as die cuts. If it's too heavily patterned, I feel like you can't actually see the image, if that makes any sense. But even then, honestly, if it's really patterned, I usually just turn it over and it looks fine. So having said that, I really, you know, I'm not picky about this stuff at all. So anyway, I wanted to show you what Loretta has sent to me. And she has sent me oh, and people also have been asking me about subject matter. Basically, all I would say is, I mean, if you guys have been watching my videos, you know the kind of stuff that I make at this point. And you know that I'm not, as far as style, I'm not super, I guess, super cutesy would be my my wording on it, you know. So I tend against anything sort of cartoony or anything of that sort, but honestly, I haven't met a die cut that I don't like. I can use it for some purpose. And so everything that Loretta has sent here is completely useful. Again, like I said, she did this kind of heavy chipboard, which is going to be perfect for altered books. But I love the paper ones too. Things have to go in on pages and things that I make. And so, you know, scrapbook paper, chipboard, acetate, plastic, anything is welcome. And so she punched out these live words for me. And again, I'll be able to use not only the words, but the once I punched it out, I can use the rest for stenciling. So that's going to be real fun. She has sent me some wings. And these wings are cool because you could use it either as is, or you could use kind of just the outline, or you could use the middle part, you know, so there's kind of multiple uses. So that's really cool. And again, you know, I get basically what most people would think is the trash, and I would probably be able to use this to draw with, to use spray inks on, and so feel free to send me this stuff as well. I thought that that was a really smart thing on Loretta's behalf. She sent me, let's see here, she sent me these cute little teapots. And they've got these little kind of lines that sort of, you know, make out the shape of the teapot. So I love that. We have tags. I love tags. I make tags all the time. So any tag shapes are awesome. She's got these cute little ships. And I've been kind of working lately on some seaside nautical type things. So these will come in handy for that. She's got a goldfish. She's got this heart. And she's got a, what do you call this? Rolodex. It's basically an index card. And I do actually have a big fatty Rolodex. And I keep, you know, I'm hoping that as index cards come in, I probably should start putting them in those, or maybe I'll just do a index or a Rolodex card a day kind of a project, but any shapes are welcome for sure. She has got this, I didn't take this out of the baggie because I haven't figured it out and I didn't want to embarrass myself. But she's labeled it small house, and I initially took it out of the bag and went, I'm not sure how this becomes a house. And so this will be a little evening puzzle for me to kind of figure that out. And so love houses, love hands, love doilies. I love birds, butterflies, wings. Gosh, just you name it, I'm into it. So speaking of birds, here's some birds. You know, of course, we've got the bird body and then the separate wing shape. So I'm gonna enjoy working with those. We have these, what do they call these? Viewmaster, the little picture slides that we had as kids, or that I had as a kid. And she's also done a couple of them in, again, the stencil in the plastic. And that's super helpful to me. Like I said, I like to paint things and I like to use spray inks. And so, and honestly, with these, you know, refuse kind of pages and little bits, more than likely I will glue this down and work with this middle shape. So if you want to send me the excess, I'm more than into it. She sent me mason jars, and I think it would be so cute to make an album out of these mason jar die cuts. And it's got these little shapes that go along the lid shape and the, you know, there's the top of it, of course. But yeah, just really, really cute stuff and useful stuff. She sent me, along those same lines, a coffee cup die cut. You can see you've got like the Starbucks type shape, the to-go cup. And then of course it's got the little parts and pieces that go along with it. So I'm gonna have a lot of fun with these things. She knows that I like clocks. I'm a big fan of clocks. And so she has sent along these clock hands, which I love. She sent some gears to me, and again she cut a couple out of plastic so that I can spray through those. And again, I can do positive or negative shapes. So many things that I can do with this. I just love it. And then, yeah, just a couple of those for me to punch out myself. And quite honestly, guys, I save everything. I save everything from these little pieces. And then if you saw my most recent video where I glued down the letters and numbers, I make book covers that are filled with these little shapes. So even if it's a, you know, little sort of shapes that aren't actually the shape that you meant to cut, I will use them. She sent along some celestial things. She's got the stars and the moon here. And then again, she also cut that out of some plastic. It looks like maybe a overhead transparency based on the kind of edge here. But again, that way I can not only use the shape, but I can also use as a stencil or for mixed media. And so I'm super, you know, super grateful that she did that, and that allowed me to kind of explain that I don't care what material you use to cut it from, whether it's chipboard, scrapbook paper, just scraps, copy paper, cardstock, whatever, as far as color or whether there can be pattern. Obviously for, you know, scrapbook type paper die cuts, preference would be something kind of neutral or solidly colored. But if you want to do it out of your scraps and that happens to be pattern papers, like I said, I can either paint over it or I can turn it over. And so it's ultimately all useful to me. Subject matter, anything. I mean, unless it's something like just, you know, over the top, cartoony, cutesy, you know, like, you know, probably no Hello Kitty or things like that. But you guys know, if you've watched my videos, that I like vintagey things, I like shabby chic, I like steampunk, I like mixed media, and so anything that would follow along those lines and that just isn't, you know, cartoony or cutesy is perfect. And then Loretta was so cool. She knows that I do all this, you know, art journal making, and she sent along these papers that she has started, which I think are awesome. And so they're mixed media type papers. This one has got lace that she's adhered somehow, and it has the coolest texture from having glued that lace down. I'm just really enjoying it. And the back side is this kind of aqua color. She's got some Tyvek paper. There's all kinds of mixed media pieces that she's kind of, this one looks like it's maybe made out of, it's got a very sort of rustic kind of look, kind of a, you know, she has used these rub-ons and they've kind of crackled a little bit. They weren't perfectly applied, and honestly, I love that. I love it when it looks like peeled paint. So very cool. Here's another page of that. And there's just textures and really cool things going on everywhere with these pieces. Got this one where she's kind of laid down some paper pieces and then painted over it. Looks like maybe there's some gesso laid down as well, because there's texture even within the painted spaces. She's got this, which looks to be that she has done a die cut. Oh, and if you want to do word die cuts, that's awesome. Love those too. She has laid down this little word, and then she put cloth over it, which I think is a cool idea. And this one, which has got the little applique or doily type piece, and then she's added some other details over it. I'm really curious about this and what made the color splotches. I don't know whether that's hot glue, whether she's melted something on there. Loretta will have to tell us on that one. She's got this bird. It says, oops, let's see. Spread your wings and fly. Yeah, just all kinds of fun pieces for me to use. Look at this beautiful blue. It's got some really pretty shimmer to it. She sent along some kind of confetti pieces, so that would be fun in a shaker or something of that sort. Kind of fun. She sent, oh, here's her card, which was one of the ways that you can enter the contest, is that she's made a card for me, and then she's got this heart die cut, which of course is one of the components. You have to use at least one die cut, and this looks to be a die cut as well. Then of course she's embossed the back, and she's got the cute little hedgehog on there. And then she's left a space for me to write. So that's super cute. Oops, I missed a couple of die cuts. Envelopes. Envelopes. Oh, those bows. I mean, there's so many things that you can punch out that would be useful for sure. So she's got these envelopes for me to use. She's included also these little gems. And this lace. Ooh, look at this. Can you see that? It's got the sequins on it. It's very pretty. And then she's got this crocheted piece that has these buttons. Loretta, I'm gonna freak out if you, did you tie each and every individual button on the bottom of this? You are, wow. That's amazing. I probably wouldn't have the patience to do that, but if you did that, that's adorable. And then she also sent along what she labeled as scraps for my junk journals. So it looks like she's got some little cloth pieces and just different papers of different sorts. I don't want to spend too much more time. Looks like maybe some felt. And so of course I'll have fun with that. And thank you so much, Loretta. I think that this is way more than you had to do, and I definitely appreciate it and will make use of it. You'll see these things coming up in future projects for sure. But thank you so much, and thanks you guys for watching. If you want to go back and take a look at the original video, the same description is there in the description box. But just keep in mind that anything and everything works, and if you have any further questions, definitely email me. But otherwise, thanks for letting me share that, and I will be back with another video in the next couple days. All right, thanks you guys. Bye-bye.